Yes, and welcome to another episode of TrendChat. I am your host, Brian Bledsoe, coming from the stormy suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. Right now, this is actually being recorded pretty late on a Thursday, and like I said, it's been storming all day here, and I got here probably about an hour ago, and definitely, yeah. And now, just kind of getting settled and ready to get into this episode and talk about some trends and talk about. I'm guessing that by this time, given it's probably around 11:30 and p.m., that everyone has heard or read about what President Trump said about the Freedom Caucus, and pretty sure it's been discussed ad nauseum on talk radio and on cable news. I haven't listened to much of it myself today, but I definitely have a couple of thoughts on that, and I will get to that pretty soon. But first, I wanna do kind of like what I did on Tuesday and kind of hit on some of the trends going on, like kind of like the top 5 from Google, and just kind of skim through it real quick. Like I said, I normally, when I'm hearing things on, whether on just talk radio or whether it's sports radio or political radio, I hear a lot. I know one thing as I look at the list now. It's talking about first trend is basically on the Portland Trail Blazers and Houston Rockets and Denver Nuggets, and that story is basically just a game going on, basketball. So NBA is coming up close to the end of the season, so I guess you have teams out there just either trying to get those last playoff spots and get ramped up for the playoffs. So, and a second story is on Atlanta Interstate 85, which I did hear about that, where a bridge collapsed on Interstate 85 in Atlanta, close to downtown, and there was a fire going out there under the interstate, and caused the plastic conduit, as far as whatever that was holding it up, the bridge, I guess, either melted and caused the bridge to collapse. And I'm like, wow, that's something that happened on a major highway like that. But so I'm guessing traffic going to be rough for the next. I don't know how long it'll take for them to fix that, but tomorrow's Friday, so obviously it's going to be bad there on Friday, and then I don't know how fast they can get that back up, as opposed to your regular construction projects. But at least they'll have the weekend. Maybe they can get something up. I don't know. Now don't do it too fast, because want to make sure it's safe. So, but yeah. So that's what's the second trend, and third being LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. Okay. LeBron James surpasses Shaquille O'Neal on the all-time scoring list. So he's 7th on the NBA's all-time scoring list, which I doubt he will be number 1. And I think number 1 is Kareem, if I'm not mistaken, is number 1 as far as yeah. So I don't think he'll probably get that far before he retires. I mean, I guess depends on how long he plays, but good, given how his game is, as far as not only scoring, but he also assists a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised that he doesn't get all the way to the top. So that was number 3, and And number 4 was, let's see, come on now, get to it. Oh wow. Well, in the midst of, that's how Google is going like real time. It actually changed a little bit. So now, um, number 5 is like the San Francisco Giants and Jimmy Rollins. So I'm guessing that's baseball. I don't watch too much baseball. I'm not gonna go much into that. And then it's switched up now to Chicago Bulls. So a lot of NBA games is trending right now. I mean, given it is at this time right now. So, but that was up with Google right now as far as the top 5 trends at this very moment. So head over to Facebook right quick, and actually, it really hasn't changed since last time I saw this. Planned Parenthood, which is trending, and given with what happened today in Congress, Vice President Mike Pence broke the tie in the Senate and passed a bill that would rescind an Obama order that basically force states to give funds to Planned Parenthood and abortion providers in general. So basically, it dismisses a rule that bans states from denying federal funds to the organizations like that. So now the states have the power to if these providers would receive federal funds on a state level, which, as someone who is pro-life, and definitely, and for me personally, it's like a number one priority as far as if you want to just make it as far as a political issue. For me, when it comes to any issue, the way I see it is that all these other issues, whether you're talking about healthcare or talking about immigration, Social Security, whatever, none of these issues mean anything if you're not breathing. If you don't take your first breath first. So that is the chief number one issue for everyone in the beginning. First, you want to live before you start worrying about Social Security. Or first, you want to live before you even start worrying about health care. Or at any level. You want to live first before, even as a baby. You want to live first before you start worrying about any sort of care that you will get even at the hospital as a baby. So life, just to live, is the first priority of everyone, really, whether they know it or not. So for me, that's why it's like one of the main priorities as far as whatever issue that we're talking about. I'm definitely think more about how that issue is played out. Whether in situations like this, I know anything that could save a life as much as possible, I'm all for it. Me personally, I'm for the abolition of abortion in total. All, from as far as seeing that life begins at conception all the way to natural death, and abortion is totally abolished. That's where I would like to be. But in a way that gets to that point or that moves toward that direction, I'm for it too. That saves lives in any way towards that goal. I'm all for that. So that, and like I said, that was still the top trending topic on Facebook right now, and Devin Nunes is still up there. And just kind of going on the whole House Intelligence Committee and the whole Russia nonsense that's still going on. Next one is Donald Trump, and okay, I'll try to say his name, but I'm not going to do it for the Chinese president. And a matter of fact, I think I remember. I remember how it was pronounced, but I can't remember it right now. It's so late in the night. But they met. Well, they're going to meet, and I guess it's just news about what the expectations as far as that. Next one is Queensland, Australia. Talking about Cyclone Debbie. I guess they're having a powerful storm out there, and that has it's a story about the storm left a shark on land. Wow. I remind me of that B movie on Sci-Fi, like the Sharknado. So yep, that's it on Facebook. Yeah, so I'm just scanning through some things, and that's basically how when I'm hearing all these different stories, that's basically how I'm interpreting or how I'm reacting to it when I hear it. So just gave you a taste of that normally of basically how my day goes in that sense. Now, obviously, like I said in the beginning, I guess the big news as far as politics, and definitely that's gotten a lot of attention as well, is what Donald Trump tweeted out about the Freedom Caucus, basically saying that they have to fight them being the Freedom Caucus and the Dems being the Democrats in 2018. And that also kind of goes into what he said about them a couple of days ago, and as far as basically blaming them for the healthcare bill, the Obamacare light, basically, or Trump care or Ryan care or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it wasn't repealing Obamacare, and it was still keeping control of healthcare in the government, whether how much or so, but it wasn't repealing Obamacare. And apparently that because that it didn't go through, and also it made Trump look bad because he couldn't get his party to come together and pass this bill. So that's kind of I guess it's probably the first major, I guess, somewhat defeat for the Trump administration. So and seeing this, when I saw the tweet, actually, unfortunately, I wasn't surprised in it. It was disappointing, but I wasn't surprised because kind of like what I mentioned before when we were talking about the people early in the administration when I forgot who it was now, but like when people were getting fired from the Trump administration so early. One or two people, I've forgotten their names already, but what I mentioned in the podcast then on TrendChat, I said that I'm not surprised that people were being fired because he's not going to put up with people who embarrass him, or the administration will make him look bad. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about as far as this. So you have the House Freedom Caucus, who has basically made President Trump look bad, and in turn, he came out and lashed out at them, which I'm not surprised by. Now, the thing about it is, one thing he mentioned afterwards also, when it comes to this healthcare bill, it was saying that about, well, not only him, actually, Senator John Cornyn actually mentioned this too about now about dealing with the Democrats as far as getting something passed as far as for healthcare. And I'm okay if you if they're talking about Republicans, or they're talking about working with the Democrats to get something passed. How in the world they're going to get something passed with the Democrats that isn't basically an expansion of Obamacare? Because anything they will come to the Democrats with that has any part of taking away what is already a part of Obamacare, why would they jump on board with that? So however they're going to bargain, or whatever they're going to put in whatever bill that the Democrats would agree with, that they will vote on, along with the other, I'm guessing the moderate Republicans, that they will agree on with, and I'm guessing what Trump will be willing to go with the Democrats. It must going to be some sort of expansion of Obamacare, and I can't think of an expansion of Obamacare being basically what, agreeing on a single payer system. That's that's basically where the next level it will go as far as Obamacare. And if that was the case, the Democrats definitely jump on that, because that's what they wanted the whole time. So it's so in hearing that, I'm like, well, that's not repealing Obamacare if you're going to do anything with the Democrats, because they're not in no way, shape, or form going to agree to anything that's anywhere close to repealing Obamacare. Like I said, it's going to be something that makes Obamacare even more intrusive in everyone's lives. So, and like I said before, what I was hearing from hearing just this tweet or whatnot, and just this reaction, it just unfortunately, it's not really surprising, because, and when it comes to this whole repealing Obamacare and everything that has happened, actually the last person I would actually point to as far as when it comes to repealing Obamacare and replacing it or whatever is President Trump, because during the campaign he was all over the place, really, as far as his opinion on Obamacare. At one point he was saying that this part is good and this is good. He was bouncing back and forth as far as, so he didn't have like a set opinion on this particular issue. So it's funny, because I feel like if there was a better plan that was presented to him, that I think he probably would have been on board with that too. And which is funny, because the past 7 years they have been passing bill after bill after bill about repealing Obamacare. All of those bills were infinitely better than this bill that they finally put out there, when they actually have the chance to repeal Obamacare. Like all those past bills in the past 7 years, when they weren't able to effectively repeal Obamacare, because even if it got past the Senate, it wouldn't, Obama would just veto it, and nothing would happen. And it's funny, because all these establishment moderate Republicans are telling the Freedom Caucus and conservatives, like, well, y'all don't know how to govern. Well, what you mean that we don't know how to govern as conservatives? And in talking to the House Freedom Caucus, I mean, apparently you don't know how to govern either, because you have been passing so you've been passing all these bills, right? of repealing Obamacare. 2015 bill, like all these bills, all these other bills, they had their flaws, but they were more about repealing Obamacare than this bill that you presented at the time where you have the power to actually repeal Obamacare, and you present this weak lame bill now. So it kind of goes back to, so what were you doing with all those times that you voted yes to pass all those other bills, when you know very well that, okay, we're trying to pass these bills, we're voting yes now, because I'm guessing you knew that it wasn't going to pass, so you didn't have no problem passing this very strong bill to repeal Obamacare, repeal these other provisions that are in the bill, because you knew that it wasn't going to do anything anyway. So basically, when I say you, I'm talking about, the establishment, the moderates that are now upset that their little weak lane bill didn't pass, and now they, because in the past they was out there being so bold and passionately talking about repealing Obamacare and going and passing these bills. Obviously, they were doing that for show. It's kind of clear now that all those bills that you was jumping behind saying we need to repeal Obamacare, and obviously you were just doing it just for a show, because now you have the opportunity to basically do the same thing you've been railing about the past 7 years, and now you don't want to do it, and want to point the blame to the people who were voting with you, who was voting yes with you all on those other bills in the past, but now you present this bill that's nothing like that you have been voting yes on the past 7 years, and they're saying like, well, why are you doing this now? Why when we have the chance to actually repeal Obamacare, you're doing something that basically that does very little as far as repealing Obamacare, and also going on the promise, trying to tell people that, well, it's a 3-phase plan, so we need to pass this part, and then we do phase 2 and 3 and whatnot. And I mean, kind of reminded me of Nancy Pelosi in a way, because they're like, well, you need to pass this part before we can get to 2 and 3, and basically just like, well, just trust us, we'll get to phase 2 and 3, and by time we get through all 3 phases, Obamacare will be completely repealed. And I'm sorry, I just don't. I literally don't trust you. If I was there, I don't trust you. I don't trust you to do what you said you're going to do. Just how about you repeal it all at once, and then let's work from there as far as whatever plan we're going to put together. Basically, whatever free market idea we would put together to provide, affordable health care. And, Representative Mo Brooks had that 1-page bill to repeal Obamacare, and that didn't, that was pretty basic, straight to the point. And here we are, and that bill probably won't get anywhere, because, like I said on the Tuesday podcast, this is showing right now that there are more Republicans and obviously Democrats, but you have the numbers are against the people who actually want to repeal Obamacare. The people who want to repeal Obamacare are in the minority, because you have a minority in the Republican Party who wants to repeal Obamacare, and then so you have that small number going against the majority of the Republican Party and all of the Democratic Party. So as it stands right now, repealing Obamacare, it seems, it's funny, when these guys was running, it seemed like, well, just as long as the Republicans are in the majority, then Obamacare will be repealed. That's how it was sold But that's not the case. It really is not. And unfortunately, that's not surprising, really. I know a lot of us were probably holding out on hope, maybe they'll do it. But, knowing some of the players and some of the people who are, a lot of these moderates, unfortunately, they are more interested in controlling, having their hand on the wheel of healthcare as opposed to letting it go and giving the responsibility to the states and letting the free market just do what it do. And people in general, it's not just for politicians, because there's a lot of people who are just afraid of free market because it's something you can't predict, for one. So, and people are just, you have a lot of people out there, a lot of voters that are more that want security over freedom. That's just the truth. And they're going to vote for the person that would give me a sense of security over being held responsible for their own choices. So it's also kind of, in all of this, it's kind of a question to a lot of conservatives who are supportive of the Freedom Caucus and are strong Trump supporters. This kind of makes them think about where they want to go with where they want to go right now. Because if you are a principled conservative and you are someone, like I said, that supports like the Freedom Caucus, and you're seeing this from Trump, which way you going to go now? Because this is not going to be the last time where they're going to differ. I'm pretty sure they're going to have other situations that happen where the Freedom Caucus are going to be on one side and Trump is going to be on another side. And wherever that is, as the next 4 years go, this is where you're going to really see where their hand is whether you're talking about Trump and where they'll see where he stands on a lot of these issues, as opposed to the Freedom Caucus and conservatives, like the Freedom Caucus. So that's going to be a question a lot of people are going to have to ask themselves. And I have noticed the instant reaction over the past day of this whole tweet of conservatives. Some that maybe if they didn't vote for him in the first place, they're saying like, well, I'm glad I didn't vote for him because of this tweet right here. Or you have some that maybe did vote for him and then they're seeing this tweet and saying like, well, I'm never going to vote for him now because he's shown his true colors, or I can't vote for him now because he has went against conservatives and blaming them because of this bill. And for me, I'm just sitting back and I'm thinking about it from a bigger perspective, because yeah, this is disappointing. I disagree with President Trump on this, and I stand with the Freedom Caucus on this issue. But I'm also thinking about, this right here would be the least of our worries if we were talking about a President Hillary right now. So for me, I voted for him. So, and I'm thinking about it in this sense. Well, right now, if we had a President Hillary Clinton right now, we wouldn't be talking about this or if we did, this will be like at the bottom of the list of issues we'll be talking about right now. Because right now we'll be talking about whoever her Supreme Court nominee will be that will be going through. That will probably be some, huge liberal, or dealing with the number of people in her cabinet that she has appointed or whatnot, and all the other things that are attached to that. So I could just imagine all of that we will be talking about right now as far as the President Hillary. So that's kind of my thought process as far as what is going on with President Trump right now. And actually, for me, this is kind of something I expected when it comes to President Trump. I did not go into this when I voted for him thinking every day it's going to be just great. Every day I'm going to agree with him every time. But no. My thoughts were when at that time was that, okay, it's probably going to be some good, it's going to be some bad. But I know with Hillary, it's going to be all bad. So that's how I looked at it. And right now, this is the bad part. And in some places, there are going to be some good parts. I mean, there have been good parts already. So, and with that, for me, I'm saying this is the bad. And this is no different than when he ran. Also, there are some things I liked, some things I didn't. So that's kind of how I feel like the next 4 years are going to be. And when we get up to the re-election time, we'll see how much the good and bad and what the future holds as far as that. I mean, I am 99% sure I'm not going to be running as a delegate for wherever it's going to be in 2020. But yeah, we'll just see from there. I mean, who knows what will be going on? For me personally in 2020, but who knows if I'm even here? Lord willing, if I'm here in 2020. So, I mean, there's so much. Yeah, I mean, just thinking about myself personally, just in this sense. I mean, like I've said before, a year ago, I had no thought of doing this right now, talking to you, whoever you are, on a podcast, let alone writing for Politichicks. And as I said that, if you want to read my articles, I do write for Politichicks. And if you want to read my articles, just go to politichicks.com/author/Brian Bledsoe. And also, another thing, as far as being in a book for Politichicks, having one of my articles in a book for Politichicks, and it's called Politichicks: A Clarion Call to Political Activism, which is available now on Amazon. If you look that up, you'll find that. And one of my articles is in that book. And all of that, have an opportunity to go to CPAC. Now I'm going to the NRA annual meetings later, in April. Going to the Western Conservative Summit, possibly going to Freedom Fest in Las Vegas. Having all these opportunities to go to these places and cover them and do interviews for this podcast. All of that, none of that was even in my mind a year ago. So who knows 3 years from now what's going on? I mean, I'll probably still be driving. Who knows? But so, yeah, it's a long time. It's this is going to be. We haven't even got past 100 days in the Trump administration, and so we will see where we are in the next couple of years. And I definitely just wondering where we're going to be. And from that point, you know, it's it. I guess it could be a long 4 years for conservatives. It could be. It very well could be. Maybe not. Like I said, it could. We just could have a whole bunch of ups and downs. So, that's all I have really on that, and I guess I can kind of just. I guess I'll just end it right there. It's kind of tapered off a little bit here in Cincinnati, but like I said, I definitely appreciate everyone listening. But before I go and in talking about all of this, I actually want to make sure I give them a shout out. I actually forgot, and I apologize for missing my cue. But I definitely want to talk about a group called the Founding Project, and they, in talking about all of this and about healthcare and just even in talking about the next 4 years, a group like the Founding Project would be a great resource for people to know more about the founding of our country and to understand just basic civics. So it just like their mission is taking civics to citizens, and if we had more groups like the Founding Project that are educating citizens on the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and whatnot, that to have a more informed citizenry. Ooh, wow. But I'm not going to cut that out. I need to just say that right. More informed citizens. There. To understand about the Constitution and what it means to be a citizen and what your rights are, and understand what, kind of one of the things as far as to understand that healthcare is not a right, something like that, or to understand about the 10th Amendment and the enumerated powers, and just that the states should have, more authority, and to know that the federal government shouldn't be involved in all of these aspects of our lives, and things like that. People will understand more if they knew more about the Constitution, and groups like the Founding Project would be very helpful. And so right now they're on Facebook. If you just search the Founding Project, you should be able to find them there. And just definitely want to give them a shout out on about that. And so I appreciate everyone listening. I appreciate you taking the time out to listen tonight, or whenever you're listening. You can listen anytime. And speaking of that, you can listen anytime on Google Play and on iTunes as well. And if you want to contact us or just want to connect with us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, it's all the same name. It's TrendChat 24/7, and we are on YouTube as well. On it's TrendChat 24/7, or is it just TrendChat? I actually don't remember. But on YouTube it's just the audio, so it's not like just a video. It's just an audio version of it on YouTube. And Actually, it's I'm not on Facebook Live tonight because it's just a recorded um, episode. But I definitely am appreciative of every play I am getting on here. Right now, we're at like 450 plays, which is astounding to me. um, and I would say if you are listening to this and you are enjoying this, definitely like it, share it, spread it out, and on iTunes to rate it, write a review, all that. And thank you for listening. And until Tuesday, I will chat with you later.